Welcome back. Boeing and GE Aerospace securing a $96 billion order from Qatar Airways as part of President Trump's Middle East trip, focusing on major new U.S. investments. The White House says it includes up to 210 Boeing aircraft and more than 400 engines from GE Aerospace, which will generate 154,000 American jobs a year. This is the largest wide-body engine purchase in the history of the company. The CEOs of both Boeing and GE were in Doha, Qatar this morning, speaking with the president at a business roundtable. Watch.
We're surrounded by some of the greatest business people in the world. We just had a tremendous order of Boeing. This is Boeing, and this is General Electric. And General Electric, I hear, makes the best large airplane engine in the world by not even a contest.
Joining me now is the man himself, GE Aerospace Chairman and CEO Larry Culp, who is still in Doha right now. Larry, it's great to have you this morning. Congratulations on this huge deal and that shout out by President Trump. Give us the impact of this deal.
Well, Maria, good morning from Doha. We couldn't be more excited, as you saw in the clip there, for GE Aerospace, a 400-plus engine order in the wide-body space. We're talking about both our GE NX and GE 9X engines, which will power the Boeing aircraft, both the 787s and the 777Xs that Qatar Airways is purchasing, the largest wide-body engine order in our company's history. I think the same applies to Kelly and the Boeing team. So we couldn't be, I think, more excited about the confidence and the faith that the Qatar Airways team is putting in both of our companies. So a lot of work lies ahead, but between last night and this morning, a lot to celebrate as well.
Absolutely. I mean, your company, along with Boeing, typically exporting as much as $50 billion annually, 2.5% of total U.S. goods exported in 2024. What can you tell us about the commercial backlog right now, and whether or not, you know, this potentially it gives you some strength, or do you become vulnerable to any trade wars down the road? Of course, President Trump said earlier that India could be next in terms of a big deal on trade. How do you protect yourself from potential trade and tariff upset?
Well, Maria, I think that the trade surplus that the U.S. aerospace industry generates, by our estimates, on the order of $75 billion annually, is front and center for all of us. And an order like this for both GE Aerospace and Boeing, I think, underscore the strength and the resilience of our companies and the industry at large on the global stage. So we'll continue to advocate for a return to the 1979 Civil Aviation Agreement, which provided for no tariffs in both directions across the Atlantic. But obviously, we're in an environment now where those are arrangements that are under review, under negotiation. And what we have told our teams, what we've told our investors, is that we're going to navigate through all of this. We've mitigated a large part of what we anticipate will come our way in 2025. There are additional cost and pricing actions that we'll likely need to take throughout the course of this year. But that's really to make sure that we continue to protect the investments in our business.
Yeah.
And we'll spend $3 billion in R&D this year. We'll put another $1 billion into capital in our supply chain, both in our facilities and with our suppliers. So there's a lot of investments to make because, Maria, this order comes on top of a backlog in excess of $140 billion. We're basically sold out in many ways for the rest of this decade. It's a great position to be in. We've got a lot of work to do. So we'll navigate any of the short-term issues to make sure we take care of our customers and deliver for our investors.
Well, that is just fantastic. And your stock price obviously reflects all of that. We just saw that power when you reported the double beat on first quarter earnings earlier this month. You had $9.9 billion in revenue. Larry, you've already taken efforts to mitigate any impact on tariff and gave us a great outlook. What does this mean for your pricing power? Clearly, this backlog and this power that you go into the next quarter with creates some optimism about that as well. Are you expecting more pricing power right now?
Maria, I think the way we think about pricing in this environment is we want to make sure we generate an adequate return for the investments that we make, the risks that we take on, and of course, the value that we create for our customers. If you look at an arrangement like the one we're announcing today, clearly a little bit of back and forth over the last several weeks, but I think we came to an equitable arrangement, and that's what we aim to do with all of our customers, again, so that we can not only continue to invest, but be their partner of choice. And we think we are that today in commercial aviation, all the more so in the wide-body space with today's announcement.
And I imagine GE Aerospace, obviously emerging from the overall GE conglomerate, you're even more formidable today than you were back then as part of the conglomerate with more focused turbine engine producing.
Maria, that's exactly right. And you really see it, I think, from the boardroom to the shop floor. We've got a board that is really custom built for it being an aerospace company. We've got domain expertise. We've got great general athletes, if I may, in the boardroom. That helps a ton. And people throughout the organization that didn't think their work really mattered when they were part of a larger company now see just how important their daily activities are, again, for customers and investors. So when you have that alignment for a company of our size, 53,000 people around the world, that really, I think, gives us something to build on all of the longstanding strengths we have had, both with respect to product technology and services.
That is just incredible. I mean, you are now powering about 3 of every 4 commercial airline flights, Larry. And I want to get your take on what this says about your own confidence in Boeing. Of course, we've seen the volatile period that Boeing has faced. But you know, these large recent orders for the Boeing jets, most powered by GE engines. Can you give us your sense of how confident you are in this company, given your strong relationship there?
Well, we're very confident in the turnaround that Kelly and the team are orchestrating at Boeing. There's really no other way to put it. I think when you look back over the last 6 months, you've seen a successful or a series of successes that the team has put forward. The Qatar announcement is one. The F-47 on the defense side just several weeks ago is another. As they ramp their production rates, both in the narrow body and the wide body space, I think you're going to see more good news out of Seattle. And we're doing all that we can to support Boeing and the team across all the platforms where we're collaborating.
So your backlog, this deal, what else do you want to tell us about this deal? These are long-term deals. This is going to impact the company's financial position for many years, I guess, months and years to come. Give us your outlook for the year and for the upcoming periods.
Well, Maria, the thing about today that we want to make sure everybody understands is that while these big new engine orders are important and they're big dollars attached, 70% of our business today and even more of our earnings and cash flows come from the daily support of the installed fleet of engines that we have around the world, nearly 70,000. And that's really the story that I think investors have come to appreciate from a standalone GE Aerospace over the last 13 months. We're out there day in, day out supporting our customers, making sure those engines and those planes are in the air. And at a time when the industry is continuing to see growth around the world, as people fly, as airlines look to modernize and expand, we think we're in a really enviable position. That backlog is just one manifestation of the confidence that our customers have in us. We need to execute, but we're at a time and place where that's keeping us all very busy, and we're delighted with that challenge.
Of course, and you know, we should point out that you've got a huge order flow from Airbus and other customers across the world as well. Larry, how was it being with President Trump? He really empowers the emotion in terms of investing in America, doesn't he?
Well, we had the good fortune, Maria, to be at the state dinner that the Emir hosted for the president last night, and then this morning at a business roundtable. A very strong undercurrent of peace and prosperity. I think we heard that from everyone that we talked to, and we were really grateful to have the opportunity to have our arrangement with Qatar Airways be part of that prosperity story last night and here again this morning in Qatar.
Well, congratulations, Larry. Wonderful position you are in, thanks to your leadership. Larry, good to have you. I hope you'll come back soon, sir. Thank you.